coronavirus, I can't believe that Godzilla vs. Kong has been delayed for 2021. Oh, hey guys, it's Pizza Splatter the Kaiju King right here, and I decided to make another video today, and I guess we're filming already. And by the way, I got some interesting news at first before we start this video, because as we heard, the coronavirus infection caused the upcoming Godzilla and King Kong movie Godzilla vs. Kong to be delayed for the next year, and which sucks quite a lot, and I guess I'm gonna have to wait till next year so we can see Godzilla vs. Kong. But who cares? What if they get new ideas about the movie while they're filming it? You know, maybe, as I heard, they're gonna add Mechagodzilla in the movie, and probably they're gonna make it a little bit better while they're filming. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong has been delayed to 2021. By the way, today we're not really gonna be talking about the delation of Godzilla vs. Kong for 2021. And today we're gonna be talking about my newest favorite film director, which I watched his movie last year in summer. This movie was incredible. Critics didn't like it that much, but we Godzilla fans liked it quite a lot. Today we're going to be talking about the director of Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters, Michael Dougherty. Anyway, what are we going to talk about Mike Dougherty today? Well, today we're going to be talking about how he got all the creatures in the movie right, such as all those new monsters that we saw, such as Behemoth, Scylla, Methuselah, and the new female Muto. But mostly we're going to be talking about Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and the one and true king, Godzilla himself. So, what are we going to start with first? First, we're gonna start how he got the creatures right, and then we're gonna get to the changes. So first, as we remember, Gareth Edwards directed Godzilla 2014, the prequel to Godzilla King of the Monsters. And Gareth Edwards added some new monsters to the franchise, which were called the Mutos. And Godzilla literally was pretty slow, unlike the Godzilla we saw in Mike Dougherty's movie. And Godzilla literally was supposed to be slow, which was kind of, I guess, a reference to the 1954 movie where he was very slow but extremely durable. He got the creature right and all that. He made him king of the monsters in the end, and he got his atomic breath, and it made him extremely durable, unlike what Roland Emmerich did with the 1998 Godzilla, aka Zilla. But there were some flaws in Gareth Edwards' 2014 Godzilla movie. I mean, there were still a bunch of flaws in the movie, such as the fact that Godzilla literally, I mean, he did got him right, but the only flaw that was in the movie, I mean, the roar was good and all. It kind of did resemble the classic Godzilla roars, but with a much more modern take on it. But the truth is, what actually happened was that his spikes and everything like that were too straight and sharp, unlike other incarnations of the Godzilla creatures that we saw in the previous movies. So I picked up these two Godzilla figures that I own. This right here is the 2014 Godzilla, which I used in my series Pizza Splatter's Monsterverse, and also in my Godzilla vs. Kong fan film. And this right here is the 1968 Godzilla, which appeared in my coffin dance with this guy before I got the NECA 2019 Godzilla, with the NECA Rodan and NECA Mothra. So if you look closely here, these spikes are a lot more sharper and straight. Even though they resemble the shapes, they're still not that nostalgic as they appeared in the movie. This is one of the classic Godzilla spikes right here, and they turn out to be pretty bigger, unlike this guy's spikes, which are very smaller. But as you can see right here, I have the newest NECA 2019 Godzilla. I mean, it's not really that new anymore, but I decided to pick this guy up. And as you can see, this guy is he has the same face as the 2014 Godzilla. The same hands, the feet are kind of bigger, the legs are still the same, the tail is kind of thicker and more like the previous incarnations of Godzilla. And this right here is the spikes right here, which as you can see have changed on the 2014 Godzilla, and they made him become this new Godzilla with more nostalgic spikes on him. And as you can see, they resemble the original Godzilla from 1954, especially on this spike right here, this one, and this one right here. Well, Gareth Edwards probably have gotten Godzilla right. Probably a little bit in the look, and in the sound effects, and in the way he's portrayed. But Mike Dougherty did a much better job while he was making Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019. And now we're going to start talking about the changes he had done on many of the monsters. So, the first kaiju we're going to talk about, its changes are Rodan and Ghidorah. So, we're first starting with Rodan. Rodan, actually, as Mike Dougherty confirmed on Twitter, was actually the last one and of his kind, as many of the other monsters are. But Rodan literally, as we saw in the movies, got his fire powers back, but did not have the laser beam he had in the 1993 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla movie. But Rodan literally was actually laid in that volcano, and the reason why he has fire powers is because he was growing up in the volcano, and the way more he stayed in the volcano, the more his fire powers started to activate inside of him. He was living inside the volcano. Now, Mike Dougherty said that this was a reference to the 1956 Rodan movie, but there were a few changes about this Rodan as well. Rodan was more of a destroyer, a destructive kaiju, unlike he was in the previous movies, where he was shown as Godzilla's ally, where this time he was shown as Godzilla's enemy once Ghidorah became the false king of the monsters. Alright, the next kaiju we're gonna be talking about is King Ghidorah, as I said before. King Ghidorah was pretty nostalgic in the design. He looked a little bit like the Heisei King Ghidorah, while the roars were very similar to the Showa King Ghidorah roars and the GMK King Ghidorah roars. King Ghidorah actually is the biggest incarnation of King Ghidorah to ever appear in a live-action movie, with the exception of the anime King Ghidorah, but that's an animated movie and makes him not only the biggest King Ghidorah, but the biggest kaiju that ever existed in film history. But now we're talking about the 2019 legendary King Ghidorah. There were many changes for this King Ghidorah, such as the fact, he did have gravity beams in the movie. His roar was gotten right. There were some of the classic King Ghidorah roars for King Ghidorah, but even classic roars for Rodan as well. And Rodan also resembled the Rodan we all know and love, just a little bit like in the Final Wars Godzilla design, just a little bit more bird-like, like an eagle or something. But King Ghidorah actually appeared more like a reptile, because in many of the previous incarnations he appeared to look like a Chinese dragon in the face, while in the movies he actually also appeared to be more like a loser compared to Godzilla, because he gets defeated pretty easily, while this King Ghidorah ends up becoming more of a very hard target for Godzilla. Godzilla almost got killed in the movie, and King Ghidorah has quite a lot of changes, such as the fact that he can now walk on his wings like on all fours, like Smaug from the Desolation of Smaug from the Hobbit series. And he can regenerate, which is pretty new. I literally got shocked once I saw him regenerate his left head that he lost in Mexico in the ocean while fighting with Godzilla after he got blasted with the oxygen destroyer. And King Ghidorah also is able to release a powerful roar, which is able to tell the kaiju that he's become king of the monsters, that he has defeated their previous alpha. And also, he's able to shoot gravity beams from his wings while touching electricity, as we saw him while fighting in Boston against Godzilla and Mothra with the help of Rodan. Alright, so we talked about the changes of Rodan and King Ghidorah in this movie, but there are two more kaiju we have to talk about, and we already know they're the king and queen of all monsters as they were portrayed in the movie, Godzilla and Mothra. So let's start with Mothra first. As we all mentioned, she's called Queen of the Monsters in this movie. Well, don't you dare think. They made a joke about that ship, about Mothra and Godzilla, but we're going to talk about the ship later. She has a symbiotic relationship with Godzilla, making her his guardian angel, and she actually is more like, she actually appears more to be like an animal than her previous incarnations as a goddess. She's able to telepathically communicate with Godzilla anywhere, even if they're separated. And also, she's able to glow, she's luminescent. When she's red, she's angry. And when she's blue, she is calm or just normal or anything like that. Mothra also has quite a few changes in her design. Even though she actually is called Queen of the Monsters in the movie, which she originally was called the Goddess of Peace in the original movies, Mothra actually has a new look, which is very, very different than her previous incarnations. Such as the fact that she has mantis-like claws which allow her to fight and hit her enemies during battles. And she also appears to have, like, her markings on the wings look very resemblant to the markings of the original Mothra. But there's one changes. The top of the wings literally have Godzilla's eyes on them to show that they have a connection. And Mothra also has a stinger, which she stung Rodan with. And Mothra actually deposits her eggs with her stinger, which I actually assume now that Rodan is pregnant. Oh boy. But also, Mothra appears to be, even though she was more like an animal, but as she actually got older, she started to appear more like a goddess. When Dr. Chen actually had a relationship with Mothra, I guess a little bit similar to the Shobjin, which were the tiny twin priestesses that were supporting Mothra. And that was kind of like a reference for Dr. Chen and her sister being those Shobjin. It was a reference to have these two have a relationship with Mothra in the movie. Relationship kind of resemblance to the original Shobjin and the original Mothra. But Mothra also turns out is able to spew out silk in her imago form as well. We saw her spew silk in her larva form in the previous movies. We saw her in the King of the Monsters movies, but she's also able to do it in her imago form as an adult. Well, Mothra also got some things about her that were resembling the original Mothra, such as the fact that she died. She laid an egg, as it has been confirmed at the ending of Godzilla King of the Monsters. As we saw in the end credits, they have discovered another Mothra egg, which I assume is gonna be the same Mothra, just reborn. Because Mothra, as we all know, is immortal, but whenever she dies, she actually releases her energy and gives it to her allies. And that's how she did do that to Godzilla in order to make him become Burning Godzilla. The last kaiju, as I told you, is going to be Godzilla. His changes in the movie, as we saw him in King of the Monsters. As we saw, he was quite weaker compared to King Ghidorah. I mean, he was pretty OP against the Mutos in the 2014 movie, but he still was pretty OP. His atomic breath did change a little bit compared to his 2014 previous incarnation that he was in Gareth Edwards' movie. So just the fact that the atomic breath looked a little bit like a blue fiery beam, while now it looks like the Millennium Godzilla atomic breath, just it's blue. But Godzilla himself, not only did I mention that they changed his design to look more nostalgic, but also they made him more muscular. And also, Godzilla ends up becoming the King of the Monsters by defeating King Ghidorah. He appears to be more like an alpha of all kaiju, and he actually is portrayed to be, in the 2014 movie, he was portrayed to be more like a territorial creature and that has us under his protection, that has this entire planet under his protection. While in this, he actually appears more like a god protecting us humans and teaming up with us. And also, Godzilla appears to be a little bit like faster than he was in 2014, because in 2014 he appeared to be only able to walk slowly, and when he's running he was extremely slow. But in 2019 in Godzilla King of the Monsters, Mike Dougherty made him run. Burning Godzilla was also a huge change. As we saw him in Godzilla vs. Destroyer in 1995, Burning Godzilla did not just boost up Godzilla's power in the original movie, but also was slowly killing him in the process. After Godzilla Jr. was killed by Destroyer, Godzilla literally got enraged. He got in a rage mode state of his burning Godzilla form, where not only did it make him more powerful, but it was also killing him slowly, which caused him to have a meltdown. But burning Godzilla in this movie, even though he actually was, the way more he got hit, the way more he got angry, he got stronger, but he was not dying. He was able to revert back to normal as Godzilla. And Godzilla ends up literally almost eating King Ghidorah after defeating him as burning Godzilla. Now the last thing we're going to be talking about is about the Mothra and Godzilla ship. Now, in the past, I really saw them as rivals, as they were shown in the Toho movies. I mean, I did kind of was into the Zilla Jr. and Commododrex thing from the Godzilla animated series that was a sequel to the 1998 Godzilla, which was a good series, to be honest. Way better than the actual movie. And I was more into the Zilla Jr. and Commododrex thing in the past, but once I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, the way I saw Mothra and Godzilla interact with each other, and after I saw Mike Dougherty's posts on Twitter, I found out that he ships the two of them. Mike Dougherty ships them. I mentioned it in many of my previous videos, and it's true. I'm gonna put up a bunch of pictures while I'm talking right now about the thing that Mike Dougherty ships Mothra and Godzilla. Now, many people mistaken this cuddling and hugging as friendship, but truth is, I looked carefully and then I realized that on one of those posts, the title of this post that Mike Dougherty added to it was actually Godzilla Hearts Mothra. The heart implies that there's a romantic relationship between these two, as Mike Dougherty posts them on Twitter from this fan art. And also, even though they had a symbiotic relationship in the movie, they had kind of like a loving thing going on in reality for Mike Dougherty. Like, for them as a couple in reality, he makes them a couple, while in the movie he made them have a symbiotic relationship and be best friends. But truth is, if we look carefully at this post, on the part where Godzilla is cuddling Mothra in this post, we will notice something strange about Mothra. If we look closely at her face, I'm going to zoom in right now, we can see that she is blushing. She's blushing, and we've never seen Mothra blush before, meaning that Michael Dougherty ships these two. I mean, who the hell wouldn't ship the Mothra and Godzilla after seeing them in King of the Monsters? Who the hell wouldn't? I mean, they're so cute. Even in this fan art, they're so cute. These chibi Mothra and Godzilla are just adorable. And Godzilla appears to be very, very different than his previous incarnations. I mean, he was pretty gentle with Godzilla Jr. and Manila in the Showa era and Heisei era of Godzilla movies, but he wasn't really that gentle. He was a little bit more like a parent, but this time he's more cuddly. And plus, Michael Dougherty confirmed, even though he ships these two, in the movie, he made them cuddle. He made them cuddle, which was not shown, but there was cuddling sometimes between them, as he confirmed, because some people mentioned asking him about the symbiotic relationship. What was it about? And Michael Dougherty said it was about survival and cuddles. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you subscribe to me, like the video, and comment down below. So anyway guys, peace out. Thank you very much.